Thought I'd take a minute this morning while I'm doing some installation of the mast head and the mast base and start a discussion about sealing these masts up. Having played a bit with the rivets over the last few days and these plates and all these pieces, it occurred to me that some people might be interested in knowing the steps that I'm taking and what I think is important in sealing these parts up. Certainly the mast head is the most critical area that you want to be concerned with, and things to know are that rivets themselves are a hole, and while the mandrel pulls a bulge in the inside that you're not seeing very much, that bulge may or may not seal the hole. So it's important to, when you're sealing, to seal not only the head of the rivet, but you need to seal all the way around the perimeter of the part that you're working with. Otherwise, water can infiltrate through the edges, and there may be some small gap on the inside of that rivet that you're not seeing. In the case of my spreader that I have down here, while I agree these things are highly challenged in trying to seal, I thought when I first started this project about changing these spreaders out, but decided what the hell, is what it is, and lived with it forever, and it works. But what I will do is work really hard to get a seal around the spreader to the mast, and then when I put the big washer, I will make sure that there's a seal between the washer and the mast, and that the fit of what tensions this washer then is the cotter pin, and I think I can make sure that all of this is fairly tight. If this thing were moving in and out, that would be an issue, but if it's fairly tight, then that's not the case, and the silicone will seal. And then the fact of the matter is that in all the years I've been sailing this boat, I've never had the mast turtle on me, and I don't know if that's my good fortune, or if in fact because my mast has been fairly well sealed that that's not been a problem for me. The other thing that I am aware of is that even with the best efforts, the mast can get moisture in it. I mean, the air has moisture in it, and if it condenses inside there, then that moisture collects on the inside walls, and if the boat's on its side, that moisture will run to the downhill side, which is the end in the water. And now you're trying to lift an ounce of water. In the case of this mast, it's 28 feet, and so I guess that'd be what, 28 times 1 ounce of water down there. You're trying to lift that weight, so that's critical. So what I've always done, and while some people might argue with me about it, I've always liked the idea of having some way to let condensed moisture or water get out of that mast. In this case, that hole will have a foil piece of tape over it, and from time to time I'll pull that tape off and replace it after I've made sure that the mast has had an opportunity to dry out. So the first thing I'm going to seal up is this mast head, and the easy edges are obviously all around this perimeter, but you've also got this back edge here that's going to match up here, and this is an easy place to have issues. So we're going to work at trying to seal both the top here, and then we will make very sure that we get these outside edges all sealed up. And I'm using a small tube of silicone this morning because I know as soon as I open this, it's whatever I use, and then the stuff dries out or cures, and then it's all over with. and so you end up with wasted amounts of silicone. So in this case, I'm going to just use the small bottle, and hopefully that'll be enough to do this mast, and I kind of think it will be. Since this is a critical area to seal up, I'm going to put silicone on this thing every which way but loose, because I do not want this end cap to leak. So we'll start with getting a really good coat inside the mast section, and I fully expect this to get pushed out of the way by the casting as it enters. That's fine. I'm getting more on the tube than I am on the mast. And the reason I'm using the tube itself without the applicator is I want a lot of silicone here. And I want to build some up there. I'm going to try to fill that whole thing in there. In this step, I don't think you can put too much. Nothing goes well when this leaks. This is just the first of several parts that I'm going to go after here. So I've got it on the mast. And I don't care about squeeze out. I'm just going to clean that up after the fact. This cleans up fairly easily. And we want a fairly good coating down in this corner and all across this back section here. Again, I don't think you can put too much on. You're just going to clean it off if it ends up being to be too much. I'm using aluminum rivets here, not Monel. There's no reason to use Monel in this part of the application. But what I am doing, and I will be working this edge some, but I can get the silicone right on the rivet itself. Force that in. Make sure that the rivet is fully seated. Now again, with all that extra, make sure that we have lots and plenty back in this back corner. Again, you can't seal this enough. Certainly take care to make sure you have it visually looking good, but making a difference if it leaks. Critical junction is this lip all across the top here. So use your finger to force it into there. And then you want to seal the rivet itself, the top head. Make sure there's some silicone that's gone inside the head of that rivet and covers the mandrel. The mandrel does not seal a rivet. And I can use the aluminum rivets here because these rivets are only to retain the casting. They are not under any kind of shear loads. So strength is really not the issue here. I have plenty of excess here. And again, I'm just trying to work it into the edges of the rivet and into the mandrel area. This looks messy right now, but it's just a matter of cleaning it up in a second. And even if it was messy, it would be fine as long as you're 100% confident that you've sealed that. I suppose you could take the time to tape this all off. It just isn't necessary in my opinion. So now it looks good, and it is sealed. Again, taking a really good look at what's going on back in here in the sail track. Make sure you've got lots of silicone in there, but that looks fine. I'm less concerned about what this looks like as compared to what it does. So if you want to do more careful work, have at it. But the main thing I'm trying to do is seal the rivet, the edges of the rivet, and the strap, because you cannot be assured that the rivet is fully sealing the hole when the mandrel pulls through. It's entirely possible, if you can see this from the flip side, that you might see a gap somewhere. So at least by sealing the strap and all these edges, you're going to slow down dramatically the infiltration of water into that area. And don't forget to get them all.